You ever unpack your last moving box, look around, and just know you're about to step into a mess you never signed up for? That's exactly how it was for me, Marcus Tate, 32 years old, finally proud owner of my first real house. A classic white two-story with a wraparound porch and the kind of backyard pool you see in those real estate ads where everyone looks like they never have a bad day. I busted my tail to get horizo when I caught the feeling, the hair on your neck feeling that someone was watching me. Yeah, it felt like a cruel joke on day one. I glance out across the street. Binoculars flashing in the afternoon sun, stands this woman. Early 50s, bleach blonde hair, decked out in a neon green tracksuit that somehow manages to scream danger and nosy neighbor at the same time. Her yard? Pristine, borderline obsessive, like she's training for the Olympics of suburban lawn care. Seasonal decorations in June? You get the picture. I'd only been there an hour, and I knew Evelyn Marie Whitaker was going to be a royal pain. By the next day, she'd already crossed my front yard, each step radiating judgment, sizing me up like I'd just tracked mud on her carpet. "I'm Evelyn," she purred like a snake in a Disney movie. "We have standards in Willow Creek, and you'll fit in if you follow the HOA rules." That little pause, the way she said fit, and made my skin crawl. I just smiled, trying not to show my annoyance. I'd met her type before. She came with an entourage, her twin boys, Bryce and Logan, little replicas with identical smug faces. It didn't take long to realize Evelyn was the HOA, or at least acted like she ran the joint. Within days, I started getting notes on my door passive-aggressive, a course about the R&B music I played while unpacking, about my Wednesday mowing schedule, and get this, even about my Toyota Camry not being up to Willow Creek standards. Apparently, if it doesn't cost as much as a year of college tuition, it doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? But I'm a patient man. I started keeping track pictures, dates, recordings, the whole 9 yards. I waved at Evelyn every time she glared at me from her window, figuring the best way to deal with her kind was just to live well and keep receipts. Soon, Evelyn's obsession moved to my pool. I'd swim laps after work and spot her in the window, binoculars up, whispering to neighbors about how my pool chemicals were a danger to the community. She'd send her boys to accidentally lose their soccer ball in my backyard, then wander over with a sugary grin, snooping for violations. Bryce and Logan, meanwhile, started getting bold, tossing tennis balls, frisbees, and even a half-eaten sandwich over the fence. So I installed security cameras, started researching property laws, just in case. I had this gut feeling Evelyn was building towards something ugly. And I was right. 2 months in, she decided to go nuclear. She staged an emergency community meeting in her living room, spinning tales about my dangerous pool chemicals and suspicious activity. One neighbor, Clara Hensley, later told me she only went because Evelyn threatened to sick the HOA on her if she didn't. Evelyn had the twins throwing trash in my pool, then snapping pictures for evidence. But here's where the story takes a turn. My friend, Kevin, works for the county assessor, offered to look into Evelyn for me. What he found? Let's just say I nearly dropped my phone. She'd been running an unlicensed daycare out of her home, cash under the table, skipping taxes, doing renovations without permits, a bathroom addition that'd make any building inspector faint. And she'd been claiming senior and disability tax exemptions she had no right to, all while preaching about property values. Kevin gave me a fat dossier, permits, tax records, you name it. I could have burned her right then, but I held off. Didn't want to start a war I couldn't finish. A week later, I'm out draining the pool for scheduled maintenance. I check totally legal, all by the book. 3 hours in, Evelyn storms out, phone pressed to her ear, shrieking about environmental hazards. She's accusing me loudly of dumping chemicals into the storm drains. I smirked. My hose was draining straight onto my own lawn, just as the rules say. But that didn't slow her down. She called the police, said I was breaking noise ordinances, running an illegal business, even hinted about suspicious visitors at my place. Spoiler, it was just my friend Jamal and the pizza guy. I figured I'd mess with her a bit, waved at her while mowing, said, "Great day for pool maintenance." You should have seen the color she turned. 20 minutes later, sirens. 2 patrol cars roll up, 4 officers hop out. Evelyn's out front, bouncing like she's at a pep rally, waving them toward my door. I meet them calm, as you please swim trunks, flip-flops, holding a folder with all my permits. Good morning, officers. Pool maintenance day. Want to see my paperwork? Sergeant Thompson, the leader, looked tired, like he'd done this dance before. I show him my documents, even let him watch my security footage. Evelyn's face fell when they found nothing wrong. But then she lost it charge through my gate with the twins, filming everything, shouting about community safety, trumping my rights. The boys ran for the half-drained pool, tossing toys like they owned it. Sergeant Thompson had had enough. Ma'am, you're trespassing. Step off the property. Of course, Evelyn kept filming, yelling about how I'd harassed her for months. Then Logan maybe tried to impress his mom, jumped right into the shallow end, scraped his knee, and started wailing. Evelyn shrieked, "My son's hurt. This pool's a death trap." Officer Rivera, helping the kid out, looked her dead in the eye. "Your son got hurt because you let him jump into a draining pool. That's on you, ma'am." Evelyn tried to order me to refill the pool immediately, or else she'd go to the city, the county, the state, anyone who'd listen. That's when I pulled out the ace. "Officers, before you go, you should know about Mrs. Whitaker's unlicensed daycare, her unpermitted renovations, and, well, her interesting tax history. I have the paperwork if you're interested." Her phone hit the ground. She went pale. The officers took my files, started reading, jotting down notes. Evelyn sputtered. "This is harassment. None of it's true," but no one was buying it. "Mrs. Whitaker, we're going to need some answers about your business," Thompson said. As the officers walked her back across the street, neighbors started trickling out, drawn by all the commotion. Mrs. Hensley stepped up first. "I want to file a complaint. She's been bullying Marcus and threatening me over my cats for years." The Lynns, a quiet couple, chimed in. "She's accused us of ruining the neighborhood with our vegetable garden." Tom Bradley, the retired cop down the block, added, "Her cousin on the HOA's been burying complaints for her for years." That ends now. More stories came out: racism, fake immigration reports, lies about neighbors, even families who'd moved away to escape her. Turns out, I wasn't alone. Evelyn had ruled this neighborhood by fear and petty threats for years. That day, the police opened investigations into trespassing, false reports, fraud, and child endangerment. For the first time, my backyard, once just a battleground, became the rally point for a whole community tired of being bullied. 3 weeks later, Evelyn's world came crashing down. County inspectors, CPS, even federal agents swarmed her house. The unlicensed daycare was shut down. The IRS found $50,000 in back taxes, and a local paper ran the story front page. She was arrested, her cousin kicked out of the HOA, and her house auctioned off to the very family she'd driven away years earlier. Now, Willow Creek is different. We have potlucks. The neighbors actually talk. The new families, all kinds of backgrounds, are welcome, not watched. My pool, the one thing Evelyn couldn't stand, became the neighborhood gathering spot. And that's real justice, isn't it? Not just winning, making sure nobody here has to live in fear again. Sometimes the real monsters are hiding behind picket fences, but so is the strength to stand up to them together. So let me ask you, after all that, when is it right to fight back? And when is it better to just walk away? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because in neighborhoods like this, the story's never really over. If you've ever had a neighbor like Evelyn, or just want to see more stories about standing up for what's right, don't forget to subscribe and share your story below. Let's hear what justice means to you.